So how come we decided as a country to start having this conversation about competency-based education? How did we get there? What we're calling CBC now, or the 2663 system, is taking over from the system we call 844, which is 8 years of primary, 4 years of secondary, 4 years of university or higher education. How come we're having this discussion? The curriculum that we are phasing out is the 844. That one came into place around 1985, when the then president put together a task force and asked them to look at the system that existed before then and see how could we make some changes in line with where Kenya was back then, 1980s, early 1980s. And so they looked at everything and they made some recommendations, which is what led to the 844 curriculum, which is what very many Kenyans underwent, including myself. Okay, the 844 curriculum had its advantages. I personally love it because I went through that system. I attribute it to have developed me accordingly. But times move. So back around 2009, 2010, Kenya was thinking about a new constitution. Kenya was also looking into this thing called Vision 2030, which is more or less a blueprint for the long term for Kenya. So back then, 2030 was very far. Right now, it's not that far away. Okay, so with that vision in mind of 2030 and the new constitution and all the changes that we were making in the country, we had to change our education so that we produce the kind of citizens who would be capable of living the kind of dream that we were thinking about in our new constitution and in the Vision 2030. That led to all the reforms that were needed in the education sector being brought together and people looking at it and debating and creating what we are now calling CBC. The whole thing is captured into something called the Basic Education Framework, and CBC is part of it. The competency-based curriculum is part of it. We did similar revisions for the other levels of education. We did the same thing for the technical and vocational sector. Again, reformed it, made it more competency-based, and the same thing as well for the universities and the rest. So the task force and all the efforts that went into looking at how can we adjust our education, all that stuff happened, and it's what gave birth to the curriculum that we have now.